Obviously, if they replace Holland Pierce, left tackle, that's some big shoes to fill there. I guess how's that looking so far early in camp and the candidates that you have at that position?
Yeah, close to size 20 shoes. You're right. Right, no question. I mean, Holland was, and again, you guys, we talked about it, the way he just committed himself, from first day he got here until the last day he left. And he's going to be fine on next level. There's no question. He's got a great future. We have players that have played last year, and we're fortunate with that. Ty Needham, he's played, okay? All right. Obviously, the left guard position, Felter has played. He's injured now. He's rehabbing. So what does that mean? Okay, we have a young left guard that's getting reps. That's just gonna help us, okay, down the road here and going into the Big Ten season. And we have Gus and Kobe back, and Taj White has played. So there's experience there. Are they ready to play in the Big Ten season right now or against Ohio University? Not yet, but that's what practice is for. But I have confidence that group, that room, out offensive line room, we're going to step up and be dang good.
Coach Janos mentioned that Ty Needham could move to left tackle. If that does happen, obviously that moves him out of right tackle. Who do you kind of see replacing him at right tackle if that were to happen? Is it Taj White?
If that were to happen, Ty at left tackle, and Taj White would be the next guy up at right tackle. And Taj has played. He's played guard. He's played in Big Ten games, and he's really the whole group in the winter program. They've done an excellent job. Done everything we asked him for. We asked of him. Jay Butler, everything he asked of him. So I don't. The culture of the offensive line room, give credit to the players. Okay, it's hard. Okay, and Fuchs can tell you. I mean, you've been around me now. I'm not a soft coach by any chance, but I want to teach and I want to coach. Okay, I don't want to just stand out there and scream all the time, even though you hear my voice.
You mentioned some of those younger guys that played due to injuries down the stretch last year. How important is it for those guys to kind of get their feet wet in the Big Ten, and how does it help their growth in times like these in the spring?
Experience is everything, right? The reason you come to Rutgers University is playing the Big Ten, all right? And Jay Butler and his staff do an excellent job in the weight room. And my job as an offensive line coach is to teach them the technique they're going to need. And, again, the experience is always, always good. We corrected it from when they played, all right? And every day today we had a lot of situational football, so we correct that tomorrow when we meet.
What kind of a difference does it make from an offensive line's perspective, having the same veteran signal caller coming into training camp?
Oh, it's really good. And Nathan does an excellent job. He reminds me of the quarterbacks I was fortunate to be around in the NFL. He eats lunch with the offensive line, and they rib one another. It's not. I mean, they have communication, and they really accept it. And they're going to. You always say protect the quarterback. When the quarterback, okay, becomes part of you, especially in the offensive line, they're going to go the extra steps to make sure nobody hits him in pass pro. Make sure, they're going to protect him because they've bonded together.
Just a sort of 30,000-foot view, right? I think about where the offensive line was when you came in to where it was this past year, where it was one of the strengths of the team. How were you able to oversee that change, that improvement to getting this group to where it is?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a lot of hard work from the players, and the players get all the credit. I mean, I love what I'm doing, and I love teaching, I love coaching on the field, okay? And I'm able to have their attention for a lot of time in the morning, after a team meeting and everything. And it's hard on those guys, right, from that standpoint, because they have to get up early, all right? They're practicing football, then they have to go to class. They're a student athlete, right, from that standpoint. But in terms of, and I tell those guys all the time, they set the standard, okay? It was a standard set, all right, when Coach Shiraka came here and I became the offensive line coach, kind of, because Coach Shando did that. But it was my job to make sure the standard, all right, was up here, not down here. And then once we set the standard, we talk about that all the time in the offensive line room, you have to maintain the standard. So the veteran guys have been in the room understand, and they become the leaders, and they bring the young guys, all right, up to that standard. They hold them to the standard. I mean, we have great leadership in that offensive line room, great leadership. I mean, when a young newcomer comes in and he doesn't quite get it, that he might be late for class or he might fall asleep in a 3-hour class. I mean, our veterans now, I let them handle it. Now I handle it, but I let them handle it. And I probably handle it, all right, softer than what they do. I know I do. All right, because they get after them.
Kind of a two-part question. You have a long relationship with Coach Yano, and what does it keep? How does that keep you going? Like, you have to have a lot of energy to be an offensive line coach.
Yeah. Well, the first thing that happens is, I'm married to a great woman. Why she married me and why she's still with me, I have no clue. All right, but she understands football. All right, our son coaches in the NFL, and she loves football, and she shouldn't because she grew up with a sister, and that's it. But she has. She's learned to love it. And when you have somebody like that really raised your kids, all right, she raised my son and daughter. I mean, I wasn't home, right? But a lot of credit to her to be able to allow me to do what I continue to do, because she knows that if I wasn't coaching, I'd be home all the time. She doesn't want me at home all the time, all right? She doesn't, because I'm not a I don't build a house. I don't hammer a nail. I don't know how to do it. She does all that stuff. Even in COVID when I was out a little bit, I played golf, all right? And she goes, how many times are you going to play golf? Well, played 3 times a week. Didn't get any better. She knew that. She didn't play golf, but she understood that. So she goes, you got to coach. And, it's interesting because when Coach Yano asked me to take the job, I said, I have to talk to my wife, and he knows my wife very well. He goes, well, I don't know what she's going to say, but I said, yeah, I probably do too. And it was. And I said, listen, this is going to require a lot of time. And it's going to require, and I'm not going to make it home in Bergen County all the time. And you know what her answer was? What else are you going to do? Play golf? No, you ain't good in golf. That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
To piggyback on
was that 2? Part 2? Okay. Sorry.
To piggyback on what Dom was asking, just the state of this group now, your third year, your third spring here. Is this a deeper group? Are you confident it's a more talented group in the Big Ten?
We're more talented, all right? The newcomers, as we call them, the Jaden Elijah, the Chris Vigna, the Kai Wynn, and Jalen Matthews, they are talented offensive linemen, okay? They got a long way to go, all right? I know that's a coach speak at times, but it takes them. I compare it and I remind them all the time because they get frustrated. You got to remember, they were the best, okay, in high school, all right? And the Kai was one of the best in the state of Michigan, all right? Jaden and Jalen were the best, okay, on the East Coast, All-Americans. All right, Chris Vigna, all right, won, all right, he'll tell you, 4 state championships, okay? So they're the best. Now they're coming in here, and they're not really stars anymore, right? They think that's what they were treated like in high school. They're stars. But, okay, they have to learn, and I tell them all the time, when I had a rookie in the NFL, all right, you only get one time to train them the way you want to train them, the way you have to train them, because in the NFL, they're going to be lined up sometime. Okay, and they're going to be blocking guys that are 6 or 7 years older than them, and they've had that many reps, which is a ton. Well, it's the same with the freshmen in the Big Ten, right? You're going to play in a Big Ten game eventually, but you're going to have an older guy that has a lot more repetitions than you do, right? So you have to keep just gradually build for those guys.
Curious, how much do you lean on that NFL experience in that time? I know it's different caliber guys, younger guys playing with them, but just how much do you lean and draw upon those 20 years?
Well, yeah, that's a lot of years. And, I've been very fortunate in my coaching career because, first of all, I coach with good people. And Coach Yano, all right, and I are vertically aligned, okay, because we coached under the same type of people and some of the same people, Dick Anderson, okay, Joe Paterno. All right, those people. And that was one thing that was easier for me to transition into Greg Schiano's program than a lot of other programs I went to, okay? And, from that standpoint. And, it's something that, every day that you do. I know exactly what he's going to say, no, okay? But I kind of have an idea. But then when he tells me something, okay, whether, again, I don't listen to he yells at me, and I deserve it sometimes. But – okay, I know exactly what he wants. And my plan, along with my assistants, which I have 3 assistants that have done an excellent job, all right, Alex Officer, Danny Dalton, and new guy Mike Buchanan, those guys, all right, I got to make sure they're set and we're all saying the same thing and we're all aligned, okay? As Coach Shano tells the team, we're oneness, we're oneness. I don't know if that answered your question or not.
Both you and Nathan have touched on his relationship with the offensive lineman. In that same vein, what's your relationship with Coach Shiraka as he instills the offense and you develop the offensive line?
He's my boss, all right? He's a great person, but he's not very happy unless you block people. So when he's not happy, who hears it? the offensive line coach. But he does an excellent job. He's got an excellent offense. He knows it inside and out. And we watch tape early morning, late afternoon, late night, to get everything fixed. And you're always – and that's a great question. You're always – as an offensive coordinator, you're always fixing something. Well, as an offensive line coach, you are too. And that's one thing I just keep reminding the offensive line. It's – I tell them when they do something good, but most of the time it's corrections, right? And we say when you fix it, you're going to be elite. And that group has an opportunity to be elite. And it's great leadership by Kirk Soraka.
Ryan and Chris to finish here.
Are there guys that haven't played in the
I thought
Big Ten?
that was a Jet had that.
It's Portland, yeah. Are there guys that haven't played in the Big Ten game yet, but you feel are close to being? I'm thinking of guys like Dominic Rivera, guys who have been in the program for a few years now.
Yeah, like Nick Oliveria. All right, he's getting a lot of reps. Like I tell him, listen to the message, not the tone of the message, because it gets hard. It's hard for him. But he has since spring ball, he has gotten so much better, from where he was, and he's getting that much closer to be a Big Ten guard, from that standpoint. John Stone's another one from Washington Township. I mean, John has done, he played center. Okay, he's playing guard right now in the spring, and he just those two guys have tremendous work habits. They really do.
Just going back to Holland Pierce,
Yes.
as the draft approaches, beyond his physical size, I mean, what what skills does he have? What tools does he have that you believe will make him a high caliber offensive
That's a
lineman?
great. There's some guys that reached out to me, and there's two people that come in mind that could really step in the direction and get their hips going north and south. Kareem McKenzie, all right, and Holland Pierce. And Holland's big, and when I first saw him doing this was when I was a consultant here. I'm like, wow, that guy can bend, and that's what the line coaches in the NFL are finding out now. All right, because does he run at 4.9 40? No, but he can move enough and move his feet, and they have to know that he still has developmental in him, And when he gets with a really conscientious offensive line coach in the NFL, his potential is unbelievable. It really is. I have a lot of confidence when I'm asked that if I was in the NFL, and I tell my son this, who's with the Atlanta Falcons, I'd get him. I don't get into the rounds. They don't either, the line coaches. The GM and the head coach get into that. But I would make sure he's on my team because he's going to do everything you ask, and he's going to do it exactly how you want it done. Is it pretty? No. But he's going to strain, okay? And that's what I've had guys call me and say, man, for a big guy, he never stops. Well, that's part of Coach Ianno's culture, right? Okay, that's part of the offensive line coach's culture to finish. But they see that, and that's kind of the wow factor in them for him.
Thanks, Coach.
All right? Thank you. Take care.